always
Yeah,
end up.
you end up doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys ready?
Sir?
Yo.
Okay. We go. Welcome. You're listening to the Best of Investing on News Talk 910. This is the show where we present valuable information about real estate, the financial markets, and other economic business of the day. And we have we have a lot of new listeners. And here's our format. A few guys sitting around a bar, having drinks without the drinks, talking business with you, the audience listening in. I'm your host, Edward Brown, and I'm pleased to have as my co-host Mark Hanf of Pacific Private Money, but he's out today ill, so good luck to you, Mark, in getting better.
Get better soon.
Yes, and we also have in the studio here Jeremy Forcier of Guaranteed Rate and Rick Warner of Keller Williams Realty. Our phone number is 888-912-1190. Write that number down, 888-912-1190, because you're going to use that number to answer the trivia questions for 3 vacations given away during each commercial break. That's right, we're giving away 9 vacations during this show. And the vacations are not sponsored by the radio station, but they are sponsored by Lighthouse Resort and Marina, which is located, 1 hour northeast of San Francisco. The vacations are free. Their only request, a $75 cleaning fee to cover housekeeping expenses. Their website is lighthouseforfun.com. Call them at 916-777-5511. And today's trivia theme is last names on TV shows. Have a little fun with that. Our website is bestofinvesting.com. Check us out on Facebook and YouTube by typing Best of Investing Radio Show. We're also on television, Comcast Channel 26 on Saturdays at noon and Sundays at 6 p.m. And I think we're going to get started right with email time because we got a couple of exciting emails here.
Sweet.
All right? Okay.
Love exciting emails.
I just love the word exciting.
Yeah, that's true.
And then email.
To add
I
to
like
it,
that.
it just makes it even that much more exciting.
Okay, I love having you guys.
I'm
You
sweating.
guys-
I'm
you guys are
excited.
great. Okay, so the first one we got here was for Jeremy, and it says, I'm thinking about buying a second home. Is it more difficult to buy one than my primary residence?
That is a great question. So it is not more difficult. So at all. You can actually put as little as 10% down for a second home purchase. Second home purchase is considered a vacation home that you're going to use, or you can also buy a home for a family member as well under second home guidelines. And a lot of people don't know that. So you actually can purchase a home for a family member under what's called the Family Opportunity Act.
And is that just the second home, or potentially you can do it for a third home too?
Correct. Yeah, you can do it for a third home as well. That is
What
correct.
about a fourth? What about a fifth? What about a sixth? No.
Up to 11.
Up to 11.
Yes,
Up
with
to-
guaranteed rate mortgage. Jeremy Forcier 415-717-7155.
Yeah,
It's not
we're
my
doing one
question,
of
it's not
those.
the real thing.
We're doing
But-
one of those right now.
Yeah, no, it's very true. So as far as actually qualifying from a guideline perspective, it is not any more difficult than an owner-occupied property. Now, here's where it can be construed as more difficult, is that you have to qualify for it.
Sure.
What does that mean? That means that you have to be able to carry your current mortgage you have right now if you own a home,
Okay.
and you have to be able to pay that mortgage and this other mortgage without any rental income to
Oh,
offset
that's what I
that
was just
payment
I was
in
gonna
order to
ask-
qualify.
Okay, so
So,
they assume it's going to be vacant.
well, it's a second home, vacation home, so there shouldn't be a renter in there anyway. Which is why you can put less than 20% down on those types of purchases. But we do them all the time. Yeah, Rick and I are working on one right now. I almost
Very
turned and
smooth.
looked at you, but I'm looking at you in the mirror, so
Yeah.
it's all good. It works out great. It's an amazing product. We're one of only 4 companies that I know that actually does that type of loan.
Well, is the theory that someone is less likely to walk away from a vacation home than an investment property? That's why you can put less down?
I've never actually thought about it, honestly. So I don't know.
I
You know
just
what
came
the
up with
theory
that
is
off the top
behind
of
it.
my head.
Yeah, that's actually great. I'm going to ask my underwriting manager that. I have no idea what the theory is behind it.
Did you say there was some kind of federal guidelines on it, though? Isn't that how there's some act, right?
Yeah, so the act doesn't really have so much to do with why it would be more risky, though, which is I think is what Edward was saying. But yes, the act is basically saying, look, if you have a mother, father, family member that can't purchase this home because they are either retired or they're unable to make payments anymore, et cetera, you can qualify for them as an owner-occupied residence. So not even as a second home, but as a true owner-occupied residence. What does that mean to all of you that are listening out there? Well, that means that if you have a child who, let's say, is going to college, okay, works in this scenario as well, you can actually buy your son or daughter a home with as little as 5% down payment and get owner-occupied rates and financing on that as long as your child is going to occupy the property.
Wow.
So
I know the
really
rates are
amazing
really
program.
low.
Yeah.
That's a good idea because I have a son in college, and we may be facing that exact situation if he decides to move out of the apartment.
Yeah, it's great. So and it still falls under, disclosure, I'm not a CPA, but with that said, still falls under, as far as the interest write-off is concerned, it's considered first or second home. You can write off 100% of that interest up to $1.1 million in mortgage loans.
Very good.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that some people in the audience are going to want to give you a call on that. So how do they get a hold of you?
Best way is my cell phone, area code 415-717-7155. Happy to answer any questions about it. Anything real estate related, give me a buzz.
Very good. And Rick, we received an email for you here, and it says, I have heard the real estate sales volume is similar to 2005, but have the prices rebounded to 2005 levels, and should I buy now?
Right. No, and that is a super great question, and of course there's a couple questions in there. First of all, the environment in purchasing a home right now is very similar to 2005, 2004, that whole era where it's just absolute craziness. Yeah. The prices have definitely not gone back to that level, which is a good thing, which means the opportunity is still there for people to purchase at certainly lower than those crazy numbers. We kind of peaked in 2006.
Okay, what kind of percentage would you say it is? Is it like 75% of what it was in 2005?
So tough because there are some neighborhoods that got hurt much worse than others. The closer you get to San Francisco, the less damage there was. So if you're in, middle of Sonoma County, for example, you have houses that were down at the worst part, 50, 60, 70%.
Right.
Right. And then you've got other neighborhoods that were maybe down 10 or 15, maybe 20%. So, and of course they aren't coming back as quickly because they didn't go down as far.
Sure.
Now, Rick, with that said, do you think though still, because there is still so much opportunity, and I'm having these conversations with, even my wife right now, and with customers as well, is trying to make them understand that they don't have to panic though. That this is nothing to panic about. Prices are going to do what they're going to do, and the supply and demand is ultimately going to determine what that looks like for people. What type of conversations are you having with your clients to let them know that yes, it's a great opportunity still, but also that it doesn't mean that you need to go in and offer 25% over what your budget is.
Exactly. Well, and your budget is exactly the right thing. What we want to do is make sure that people are not getting overwhelmed with the craziness and the emotion of this environment, and that they're focused on, well, what is your actual need? In other words, do you really need 3-2? Do you really have to be in that neighborhood? What is your actual need, and can we buy a house that fills your need for the price that makes sense for you, that you can afford, and all that?
Right.
And so yeah, I mean that's the challenge going forward.
Just the assumption that prices will always go up another 10% per year. So honey, don't worry, we can always afford that more.
It's easy, and you can make a really good argument that says, hey, we probably are on some kind of sustainable upswing here, right? There's a lot of good indicators that say that, but man, I've been wrong as much as I've been right about predicting things. So Jeremy's absolutely right. We really don't know what's going to happen.
Well, it's crazy. Sacramento got hit super hard, and if I'm not mistaken, aren't they like one of the first biggest rebounders?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean,
you're right. Stockton. I just was at a California Association of Realtors event 2 weeks ago and saw their chief economist or whoever present some information, and Stockton was the number 3 city to rebound year over year in the nation. Yeah. It was kind of crazy, amazing, right?
Especially after they went bankrupt and all that.
But again, you have to put that in the right perspective. They were also number
1, right?
Yeah, number 1 or 2.
Yeah, and they go down 70%.
Yeah, right. I mean, Las Vegas was in there. So yes, I mean that was my point too about whatever has come down the worst, of course, is where the most opportunities are, and that's where.
Right.
And so I lost my mic.
Okay.
Check. Oh, I think I'm back. So yeah, that's where.
Hold on a second. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I had touched the wire.
Oh, yes. Unfortunately, these things are very sensitive for whatever reason.
Now it's off. It was fine. But check.
What Rick was saying is buy now and buy often.
We're not
I know.
Check. Shoot, it was. there it is again. Check. Okay,
You're good.
All right,
Don't-
so yeah, don't touch anything.
Okay,
Don't breathe.
ready? Let's do the whole show like this. It'll
So
make for
what-
good TV.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can.
The nighttime is the right time. The nighttime is the right time.
Give me your money.
All right.
I don't know what he's
I
doing.
don't know either. I bet it's.
Oh, you said don't touch the wires, right?
Yeah.
No.
Unfortunately, I don't know why it's like that.
Put his
It's
hand
only
in
that
Technical
microphone. So.
difficulties.
Okay, so let's continue on. Okay, Rick, we have you back.
Yes, I'm back. I'm
Okay,
back. Yes,
excellent.
I had
Okay,
to
tell you
leave
what.
for a moment.
We're going to cut to a commercial break, and when we come back, we got some more interesting things to go over here. Okay, so first of all, we had a special trivia question last week, and here it was. It was, what do Edward Norton, Dustin Hoffman, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Daniel Day-Lewis have in common? And the answer was they all played somebody in the movies with a disability. Where Edward Norton played in the movie The Score with Robert De Niro. Dustin Hoffman played Rain Man. Leonardo DiCaprio, once eating Gilbert Grape, and that was when he was a youngster. And Daniel Day-Lewis,
Lincoln.
my left foot. Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. My left foot.
Hey, you
And,
know that they all have D's in their names too.
That, you know what, that is true.
Yeah.
Except for, yeah, that's true.
No, they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And our winner was Dana from San Jose.
Nice,
And,
congratulations.
Way to go, Dana.
Good job. And you want a beautiful here, a trip to the beautiful Sonoma wine country, and this is for the Glen Ellen Inn. For this beautiful Sonoma wine country is all about enjoying delicious food, drinking amazing wines, and most of all, relaxing with the one you love. Okay, a getaway to the wine country is the perfect way to relax this winter. The Glen Ellen Oyster Grill and Martini Bar is the perfect place for a romantic meal or party with friends and family. Make a night of it and stay at the Glen Ellen Inn Secret Cottages. And check them out at glenelleninn.com. Okay, now our first commercial break. Remember the question or the trivia is last names on TV shows. So here's the first commercial break. First trivia question on the TV show Friends. What was Chandler's last name? First three callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Their website is lighthouseforfun.com. They're called 888-912-1190. That's 888-912-1190 to answer this question. On the TV show Friends, what was Chandler's last name? Remember, played by Matthew Perry. 888-912-1190. Make sure to include your name and your email address. Speak slowly and spell out your email for us one letter at a time, and we'll be right back. Okay.
Solid.
All right. Save this bad boy here. When we come back, do you want to continue what you were?
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, there's lots to talk about in there.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So is the Comcast, that gets turned off too when we go to a break?
You know, it depends on how he edits it.
Oh, do you edit that?
On break?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, unless it's this one I'm not filming, but sometimes it's really interesting conversation
Oh, on break?
on break,
Okay,
and
yeah,
then I
cool.
put up for station break, and but most of the time I just edit it.
Yeah.
Actually, we do two shows, a short one, and then this will be the longer one.
Okay.
If you go to the website, I have both the .YouTube and Comcast rather than YouTube.
Okay. I've done nothing in terms of using this marketing-wise.
I know, I'm an idiot. Me too.
So, it's available for you.
Yeah, I know.
It's
It's dumb.
It's really dumb. Both of our parts. Oh, reprice for the worse.
What's that?
Nothing.
Oh.
So I'm glad Tanima got in today,
Yeah, we're all good with her. She's gonna come in tomorrow.
but I'm bad for me. Yeah.
No. It doesn't matter. We didn't lose that much.
Okay. All right, so we'll come back to you after this trivia question here. Okay, here we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Jeremy Forcier and Rick Williams.
Rick Williams Warner.
Why do I do that?
I know it's because you like basketball and.
No,
I
I
don't know,
keep
Rick
doing that. I'm
Williams,
sorry. It's
basketball
Rick
player.
Warner of Keller Williams.
Yes.
We're going to change that last name.
Want me to change my last name to Rick
No,
Williams? So
or
you get it
change
right.
the name of the
Why don't
company.
we just say the name of the company to Keller Warner?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Done.
Okay. Rick Warner. There we go. That he's my co-host too. Okay. Here's the
We're
deal.
obviously very close.
Oh, you're teasing me. Okay. Here's the first trivia question. On the TV show Friends, what was Chandler's last name?
I don't think Chandler had I think it's a trick question. I think he's like Prince and Beyonce.
No.
Just
Is
Chandler.
it Chandler Tyson?
No, Chandler Bing.
Ah.
Bing, oh,
Bing.
right.
Remember that?
Bing.
Okay, Bing.
Yeah.
All right.
And then they went to name a website after him later.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, Rick Warner,
Yes.
you were talking about rebounding on the real estate market.
Yeah, just the psychology of how to approach this crazy market if you are a buyer or an investor. And it really is kind of setting your own boundaries at the same time being aware of that we do have a market that is aggressive, that you probably,
Right.
I mean, if something is priced at an accurate level based on the existing comps, that's probably going to be a little bit low, and that you probably will need to be a little bit higher. But then, I know we talked about this on the last show, there's other things that you can do to get offers accepted, that it's not just about price. And we've had some really good success, Jeremy and I, this last month of getting quite a few offers accepted, and I would say half of them we were not the highest price, but yet we got the offer accepted. So
And you guys seem to be kind of tag team here pretty well.
we do a lot together. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely are partners. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens a lot of times, I guess, clients they're looking for a house. They'll call you, Rick
Right.
Warner.
Yep.
And then Rick will say, "My name is Warner, not Williams." Now, see, you know what? That's actually good for radio here because people are going to remember this now forever. It's Rick Warner.
I don't think it's quite that important, but yes.
Well, that makes it
I
okay.
do hear the
Rick Warner. And then what you after the
Well, yeah. So
going through
what
the process-
happens? Yeah, exactly. So what happens is people call me one way or the other, they're a referral or whatever it is, and it is so important that we have the ship super tight on getting the deals done. That it's what I want to do is work with somebody who has a lender that I know is going to get the job done. They're going to tell the people the truth, and that when they say they can get it done in 30 days, or they can get it closed in 21 days, or they can remove their contingencies in 10 days or 17 days or whatever it is, that I can count on them.
Yes.
And so I would say, I don't know, probably 80% of my deals go through Jeremy. And the other 20% are people that just, even though I gave them that big spiel, they decided for whatever reason they wanted to go with somebody else. And in fact, we're paying the price for that on one that was supposed to close last week where the buyer insisted on using Bank of America. I told her exactly why that wouldn't work. I don't know if it's okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
Did I just-
The
I
next
should've
commercial break is sponsored by
Yeah,
Bank of
go right ahead.
America.
So I shouldn't have said the name of the bank. But anyway, yeah.
Well, no, it's the truth. They're not bad mouthing. You're just saying that.
well, I'm
that
just
they
telling.
went
This is
through it.
exactly what happened. I said, look, it's not a great. They're not great about getting their timelines done.
Right.
And here we are. We're a week late, and we still are not going to close. Of course, the lender at the table told her, "Oh, I can for sure get it done."
Of course.
So anyway, yes, we do a lot together, but it's a whole process to get an offer accepted. It is not just sending over an offer with the most amount of money.
Right. And likewise as well, especially on the lending side, when we're talking with people out there in the community, consumers, we really try to make everyone understand that choosing an agent is really important. And when I talk about an agent, I'm talking about a real estate agent.
Yeah.
You want to work with a real estate agent that's very active. What does very active mean? It means that they are working with a lot of buyers and working with a lot of sellers, that they are well known within the real estate community, and that their offers will hold some weight, especially in this market right now. I mean, you're going against 10 other offers, and if a listing agent on one side is trying to sell a house and they're presenting offers and they say, hey, this guy Rick Warner, we know that he does a great job, we know his name, we've closed a number of transactions with him, or just that, hey, we know he is very well known, we have a great relationship with him. It means a lot for your offer, because ultimately this is a relationship business. So, if you're listening out there and you're trying to think about, gosh, I can't get into contract, maybe you're frustrated, really important sometimes to take a step back and evaluate, well, who am I working with, and what is the best opportunity of me working with someone to help me get in the house that I want right now?
Yeah, I know it's important. Especially, what's funny is that with loans that we had done in the past, it was really important that we even had the right title officer. a lot of times people think, oh, who cares? Just go through any title company, but that's not the case.
Yeah, real estate is a team sport. I mean,
is
hands
absolutely,
down,
and,
it is a team
and it's
sport.
sometimes the listing agent, because that's a great point, actually would prefer their own title company. Well, to me, as long as I'm aware of who the title company is, that's part of what we want to do too. Is when we call and it's a multiple offer and I'm representing a buyer, I want to call the listing agent and go, okay, paint me the picture of the ideal offer. What's it going to look like? I get it that you want as much money as possible, but everything else. Who does the title officer need to be? What are you looking at for terms? Does the seller want to rent back? What are the, can we remove the appraisal contingency? Will that make a difference? All of those things, are part of the equation.
That's very important. I mean, I can see that could actually put you in, especially if there's going to be potentially multiple offers. That's the sort of thing that can put you right in front of the line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
But a lot of times, I mean, I can imagine someone coming to you, Rick, first and saying, I want to buy a house, and then, gee, can you recommend someone to do the loan? But do you get it sometimes the other way?
Oh yeah, we get it sometimes the other way as well. But you're absolutely right. The natural progression of how it works. So same thing with an insurance agent, for example. So and then the hierarchy or pecking order, I should say, the process would be in a normal situation: realtor, Rick, Jeremy, lender, and then me. Hey, who do you have as far as insurance goes? Because that's what we interact with.
Right.
So yes, that is normal. But with that said, of course, I come across people that are referred from my database, run into some of you amazing callers out there listening to our show that call me and want advice, and then that gives me an opportunity as well to refer back to Rick. Yeah, it can work both ways, but traditionally, the realtor controls, ultimately the borrower and the referral.
Okay. Good. Hey guys, we're going to cut to a short break. When we come back, a couple of articles I wanted to go over. One has to do about leasing cars, and the other one is those of you who have given to charity, you got to make sure that they have that 501c3, I don't want to call it sticker, but classification, because there's been some news out recently that people have been donating to, Hurricane Sandy and victims, stuff like that, and they're not going to get their tax deduction. We'll explain why.
Scam. It's the American way.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, here's
Take
our
advantage of the downtrodden. That's the way we like to roll here.
Madoff 2.0.
That's it. I think that's the reason his name is Madoff, because he made off with everyone's money. All right, the second commercial break, trivia question. Again, last names on TV shows. On the TV show Everybody Loves Raymond, what was Ray's last name? Okay, hold on.
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
The first two callers with the correct answer are going to win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Their website, again, is lighthouse4fun.com. Call 888-912-1190. That's 888-912-1190 to answer this question. On the TV show Everybody Loves Raymond, what was Ray's last name? 888-912-1190. Make sure to include your name.
Raymond.
No, okay, well, Raymond was his first name. Okay. Make sure to include your email and your name, and please spell out your email slowly and one letter at a time, and we'll be right back.
Mund was his last name.
Raymond.
Obviously. Are you trying to get the fan to be turned
Yeah,
on?
well, I was going to say that's probably because this microphone here picks up a lot.
Oh.
And,
You want me to turn it off?
You get?
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out what he was trying to tell us. He's like doing all these cartwheels over there, and I'm like, I'm trying to focus on what I'm saying here.
Nothing you can do during the show. That blue mic's always been a problem with that cord. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember the first time we had someone pick it up, and it's like,
Yeah, that's what happened on Tonema, man. Jay?
Awesome. Yeah, that's.
That whole, was all the relationship. I mean, it's always, it could be a myriad of things, but, I mean, we went up against a 20% down, and we were 5%, and I couldn't get her in contract because she kept she was always the highest price in other offers, but because she couldn't do any, right now we're doing a lot of waiving the appraisal or putting in a buffer for the appraisal so that the seller, because at the end of the day, the listing agent and seller, they want the deal to close. Yes, they want the best price.
yeah,
but you have to close,
especially
right?
if they have something that they're doing.
Yeah. So we weren't able to do anything with her appraisal because she didn't have the cash to make up for it if it didn't go through. So we always, and we'd always lose to somebody that was willing to do that. So it's been, and then we ultimately we did get her in one because I had a relationship with the agent who said, I know Rick's going to get this deal done. So,
Well, how long have you guys known each other?
2 or 3 weeks now.
7 years.
7 years.
Don't even have the 7-year itch either.
No, yeah,
No.
less than with my wife.
Let's see. Listen, how long have you been married?
10 years.
You're a young guy too.
I'm on my 11th.
How long
right
have you
now.
been married?
17.
Yeah, see, I'm still 23.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
great.
Guy,
I applaud you.
well, thanks. I don't
I
know.
really do.
I don't know if I've been married first or born first. That's how long it's been. Very long time. Okay. Yeah, okay, so we did the email questions.
You were born first, in case you were.
In case I was
Wondering.
Marriage just feels like 2 minutes underwater. Hate date 2.0.
Oh,
Wasn't that funny?
we're still being.
I don't care. Hey, what's up, Chris?
Always date your wife. Okay.
Hate date.
Okay, so we'll get into this and
Lunch.
this, and then
We'll talk about it at lunch.
you guys ready? Let's do our Welcome back to the Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Jeremy Forcier
Yeah.
and Rick Warner.
Yo.
And when we cut to the second commercial break, we asked this trivia question on the TV show Everybody Loves Raymond. What was Ray's last name? And it was not Mund. Ray
I
Mund.
swear I got that right.
Anyone?
Are we allowed to?
Yes.
Almano?
No, well, Ray Romano is his real name, but his
Shows you how
Have you
hip
been
I am.
drinking?
on the TV show.
I thought you said this is the show without beer.
About beer.
Well,
exactly.
while we're here.
Wow. Yeah. Last name Barone. Ray
Ah,
Barone.
I should have remembered
Right.
I
that.
should have remembered that.
I
Okay.
don't watch television.
All right. You guys ever leased a car?
Yes, I'm leasing one right now. First
Wow.
time ever in my life.
Oh, that was fun. A swinging microphone.
This is a
The
great
wiggly worm. I thought there was an earthquake happening.
Great
You see how
show today.
calm I got?
Technology
Okay,
is
very
awesome.
calm.
For those of you
very
who
calm.
don't know what just happened, we had a microphone.
Which would be everybody.
Because
Yeah,
they can't see
They
it.
can't see it, but
Yeah.
the microphone just fell from the ceiling for the television. That's okay. I'm just going to hold it here. Is that okay, Kramer? Okay.
Good.
All right. For leasing a car, there are a few things that people should pay attention to. One is go ahead and haggle over the price. A lot of people, they just think that if they're going to lease a car, you got to just go with the sticker. No.
Preset, right.
Always haggle on the price. In fact, the way I do it is I go for, I'm doing them a favor. So how much back of invoice can I get, Mr. Car Salesman?
Wait, explain what that means, back of invoice.
Well, usually what I do is I go on Kelley Blue Book and I find out what the invoice is. And theoretically, that's the price that the dealer has paid for the car. Okay. There's a lot of times there's incentives and rebates and all that stuff.
From the manufacturer.
From the manufacturer,
Right.
yeah. So I figure, okay, we'll let him keep some of that. But if the car costs $20,000 and they're trying to sell it for $30,000, I said, no, let's work on the $20,000. Now, will you take $18,500? Because my attitude is, I'm doing you a favor by getting this off your lot. That doesn't always work.
You're helping them with their inventory problem.
That's right, exactly. And the thing is, I found that when I go and I know exactly what I want, then it makes it easier because then all I have to do is just process the paperwork.
Right.
I did that many years ago with a Honda, where I got it down to where I knew everything about the car, and I had dealt with somebody in San Francisco, and I knew how much the price should be, and I was satisfied with that. And then I called the one in Marin County, which was just a few miles from me, and I asked for the fleet manager. That was the other thing. Asked for the fleet manager because and nowadays it's the internet fleet manager. And I said, listen, here's the deal. I know exactly how much I want to pay for the car, and it's this amount. I said, I don't even want you to beat it at this point because I know it's low. All I want you to do is match it, just so I can save the gas and the toll. And I'd rather deal with somebody in my own backyard. And if you can match the price, I will come down right now and actually and we'll just do the car. If you can't do it, then I'll just bypass you and go right to San Francisco and buy the car today. And she said, well, hold on a minute. She came back to me about 2 minutes later and said, yep, talk to my manager and we will match that price. As long as you are going to come down today. And I said, okay, but I'm going to be really serious with you. I'm going to come down, and if you ask me for $1 more, I stop the process and I go into San Francisco and buy the car. And they were very good. They did exactly what they said they were going to do.
So lesson here is bring Edward whenever you buy a car, and we've just lost all our car manufacturer owners. So listen to
I
the
can
show.
just see all the car salesmen are
Yeah,
like turning off the radio.
exactly.
No,
Sorry about
that's
that,
actually
guys.
that's great information. Because I'm the opposite. I am that not so smart guy that's just like, I'm busy. That's the price. Cool. Can I make the payments? Awesome, and I buy it.
Well,
So-
time is money too. So if you, see, I have obviously I had a lot of time on my hands back then. So busy guy like you have to put a value on your time.
But so just so I'm clear though, because this is actually awesome. So you can go on to Kelley Blue Book and type in invoice price.
Well,
Is it-
you ask for the information on the specific car that you're looking for, and it usually will give you the invoice and the MSRP, or Monroney, as the car sales people call it. I don't know why they call it that, but the manufacturer's suggested retail price, which is kind of garbage. But I asked the salesman one time. I said, "How many people come in and when they see the price of a car, they just buy it?"
On a lease, because they
No,
don't.
just buy it.
Even regular?
Just regular, yeah. I said, buy this on the sticker. And he said about 20%.
Wow.
And I said, that's great, because those people are what
Are
keeps it-
allowing you to get a good deal.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So 80% of you out there, please haggle, and 20% of you, please just pay the full price. Okay?
Exactly.
For the rest of us, it's the old 80-20 rule. There was some other stuff on there.
Okay,
right?
so there's other stuff here too. When you're going to be leasing a car, ask about the money factor, which effectively is essentially the interest rate. A lot of times you say, "What's the interest rate I'm paying?" And they won't tell you that. They'll tell you it's money factor, but effectively it's the same thing. So I got this one from Yahoo. It says multiply it times 2,400 to get the approximate annual percentage rate. So whatever money factor they give you, multiply times 2,400.
I'm confused and I'm here.
Okay. Whatever money factor they give you, whatever that figure is,
Yeah.
multiply times 2,400.
And that'll tell you about what the
and
interest
that'll
rate.
tell you about what the interest
All right.
rate is.
So simple enough.
Okay,
Who cares
that's-
why? That's just how you're
That's what
supposed
it
to
says.
do it.
Okay, last thing, or the other one is the residual value. The higher the residual value, the less you'll have to pay on a monthly basis, because at the end of the lease, if you decide to buy a car, you're saying, I'm going to buy it at a higher price.
Right.
Okay. And the other part that you had mentioned, Rick, was the mileage allowance. Now, I've always found that it's best to go for the lowest, because let's say 12,000 miles is usually.
I thought it was 15 wasn't the norm, but 12 is the lowest, right?
Well, they may even have less than 12, but when I was doing a lease one time, it was 12,000, and I found that even if I went over, the amount that they allowed me to buy was so low, like 16 cents a mile, that it worked out to be really cheap to pay that overage, rather than go, I'm going to buy, I know I'm going to travel 20,000 miles,
Right.
Because then obviously the more you travel, they're going to build it into that lease payment.
On leases as well, and this is newer. Maybe I was told it was newer. Once again, I'm the gullible guy. So I just leased my first car, and there's something you can do. Like if you pay an additional $17 a month, is what I paid, that you can return it with a guaranteed price, as far as what you can buy the car at.
Well, that effectively is still a residual value.
It's still the residual value, but it's basically unlimited miles, because it doesn't matter what your mileage is. You can return it in
Or
your
in other words, your guaranteed price includes
right,
whatever.
and they will
mileage.
not call it unlimited mileage.
Well, here's the other thing, though, is that if you, let's say, go for 12,000 miles a year, so that your payments are really low, when it comes time to, if you're not going to turn the car in, if you're going to actually buy it, it doesn't matter what the mileage is, right? Because you're going to own the car. So it didn't matter if you went over.
Right.
So,
Okay.
So that's
Got
kind of,
it. So it's a trick.
It's a little bit of a trick. Okay?
Ooh.
But
But-
most people that lease, that their plan is to turn it in. They're
Sure.
going to lease it again because there was the reason that they did the lease.
They'll do a new lease.
So you could technically, in that case, turn it in and still have a guaranteed price,
Exactly.
no matter how many miles.
The one
on it.
issue that I ran into, and I kind of felt I was a little gullible for this, was I paid an extra $500 a year, something. I can't remember how much, or maybe $50 a year, whatever it was. And they said effectively you could turn the car in almost any condition. Because I figured, in a 3-year lease, we're going to have dings and all this other kind of stuff. When we turned the car in, they said, oh no, what we meant was anything bigger than a quarter isn't covered. I go, what? I mean, that doesn't do me any good.
Yeah.
So I actually ended up, wasting a little bit too much money on that guarantee. Okay.
One last thing on that, swapalease.com, like I was mentioning, that's
Oh, yeah.
something that for those people who want to be in a new car every year, there's this website called Swapalease. I haven't done it, but I know people that have done it. They said it's pretty good. And you go in, the people that want to swap out their lease, basically, you can take over their payment. You have to qualify and all that.
Sure.
And there's only maybe a year left or whatever, and for whatever reason they want a new car, and that's a good way to not have to make a commitment to it.
Awesome.
And one thing that I figured, now this is just me personally, whenever I bought a car, even when I bought a new car, I don't take collision insurance. I do the maximum for liability in case, God forbid something happens, you get sued. But I figure if I'm a bad enough driver, I'll cover the actual cost of my car. And then, of course, I get uninsured motorists because I want to cover some idiots out there who doesn't have insurance. But when you do a lease, they make you take full coverage. And so the extra insurance cost, you have to kind of consider that too. Just again, something to think about.
I always get collision.
Me too.
It's just a personal preference. Doesn't have to do it. Okay, we're going to cut to one more commercial break. When we come back, we're going to get into charitable donations. I want to make sure people get the correct facet on that, and then we'll finish up with you guys, because I know you're going to have some more good information for our listeners. All right, we are going to the third and final commercial break. Here is the trivia question. On Cheers, remember the old show Cheers? What was Sam's last name? The first three callers with the correct answer are going to win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Their website is lighthouse4fun.com. Call 888-912-1190. That's 888-912-1190 to answer this question. On the TV show Cheers, what was Sam's last name? Make sure to include your name, your email address, speak slowly, and spell out your information one letter at a time. And we'll be right back. That's never happened.
Send in.
Maybe.
Oh, I
don't know how
saw
that's
it.
gonna
I saw it.
sound, but
I saw it coming.
Did you?
Yeah, slowly. And who cares?
It's just that day. My mic went out.
There you go.
Here comes another mic
Like,
from the
you get
ceiling.
Go up the ladder.
I'm getting hungry.
That'll be kind of fun.
No,
This
I
last
don't
one.
anything. I'm kind of like,
I like your.
It's trying to be on
I like
there.
your left
Yeah.
wrist.
Yeah, I know.
No.
I can save this
Pull
for
the trigger.
after we do a small little charity thing. What do you guys want to cover?
What do you want to talk about? Investment. Best of investing is what it's called. I got nothing too. We can just keep talk. I mean, we just talk, but we should have some starter.
I think what really helps if people really like the personable part.
Yeah.
I hear that from listeners where they say, "Yeah, I really love the show because you guys are like real."
Yeah.
And then when people hear that, they'll be more trusting to call.
Yeah. Well, that's how we. I think that's why part of why we do so, because we're authentic. We're just telling the truth. We can talk about what we think the market's going to do. We didn't talk about that.
Okay.
And then we can, because that goes to the whole rate conversation. And I tend to not necessarily make a prediction as much as here's what could happen, kind of thing. A couple different
Could go up. Could go down.
Could stay the same. Yeah.
Words of wisdom.
Yeah. It's going to happen. Well, one of three things. Or a combination of thereof.
Okay.
I'm pretty down the middle.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, guys ready? Away we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Jeremy Forcier of Guaranteed Rate and Rick Warner of Keller Williams. When we cut to the third and final commercial break, we asked this trivia question. On the TV show Cheers, what was Sam's last name? Anybody?
Mayday Malone.
That's right, Malone. Very good. Okay.
Jeremy doesn't even know what Cheers is. He's so young.
Sorry, guys.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Oh, I mean, I know what it is. It's a bar show,
There you
a
go.
TV show.
It was only the #1 show forever on for Thursday nights.
That's right.
That NBC Thursday night lineup that everybody had to watch.
Very
And then
good.
the guy who co-stars in Curb Your Enthusiasm starred in Cheers. Right. Ted, what's his name?
Oh, Yeah,
The same guy, right?
yeah, that may be
He
accurate.
looks like Hellboy.
I don't know what that means.
The movie? No.
Oh,
See,
okay.
now we're
I'm
showing-
too young.
okay.
Sorry, guys.
Too young for that. Okay.
Let's go ahead and keep.
That's
Let's
right. Yeah,
move
be
on.
young and energetic.
Where
Okay.
everybody knows your name.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
exactly what it is. Okay. There was an article recently regarding charitable donations. And of course, this is around tax time, so watch out, people. There were thousands of Americans who donated to charities last year in the wake of Superstorm Sandy and the school shooting in Newtown, who may not get the tax benefits they were expecting. So while many of these charities are legit, others were scams or never received proper approval from the IRS to become a 501c3 organization. Remember that, 501c3. A lot of times you may have to ask them for the documents on that. Meaning taxpayers are not allowed to deduct the donations to these groups. So last month, for example, the New Jersey Attorney General filed a civil lawsuit against the Hurricane Sandy Relief Foundation. That's a good name, huh? Alleging that the group had falsely claimed donations would be tax deductible. The organization had raised $631,000, but had given less than 1% to victims. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, actually, it doesn't. Unfortunately, it's not shocking. It's disgusting. But
it really is. You know, people are down, kick them some more, right? At the same time, roughly 13,000 in donations had been allegedly transferred to personal bank accounts. Of course, what happened to the other $600,000? I don't know. So the foundation's website now says.
So they're mean and dumb.
Exactly. Yeah. the foundation's website now says that it does not have 501c3 status, but it is applied for it. Yeah, I'm sure they're going to get it. And here's the other issue is that if the IRS catches the taxpayer deducting to a non-eligible organization, the filer, right, the taxpayer, has to pay a penalty and any unpaid taxes as well as interest. So there could be kind of a
sounds like a lawsuit. We need an attorney on here. That sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Well, yeah, good luck collecting. You know, it's funny. Remember?
Well, it sounds like they have $600,000.
Yeah, I'm sure
right?
they have it sitting in a bank account waiting. You're talking about dumb. Also, it reminded me of the bank robber. One time went into a bank to rob it, and he didn't have any piece of paper, so he took out his own deposit slip on the back of it.
That is classic.
That good? That's really
That
awesome.
same guy took a cab on the way home with the money.
Yeah. Okay, Rick, with your crystal ball, tell us what you think is going to be happening in real estate.
So I know you guys can't see Rick because we're on the radio, but Rick is sitting here with a crystal ball right now.
Yeah, that's right.
Literally, there's dry ice all over the place. It's
I have a thing
it's
on
really
my head.
fun.
Yeah,
He's wearing a Schwami realtor hat.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. So
Yeah.
go ahead, Rick.
And actually, I do carry this with me everywhere I go.
Yeah.
So
if you see the guy with the turban on his hat.
Well, it's the big bulge in my pocket that throws people off.
Hey, now.
That's the crystal ball.
It's a crystal ball. That's all it is. Yeah. So
you don't
yeah,
have more than one of those in your pocket, do you?
I have. Sometimes I need a backup.
Okay.
All right, look into that crystal ball.
Yeah.
What do you see?
Well, and it's funny that we joke about this, but obviously this is the number one question that I get from people: what is going to happen, right? And like we were kind of joking off air, it's one of three things: the market's going to go up, the market's going to go down, or it's going to stay the same, or some combination of those three things. That's what my crystal ball tells me.
That's not very vague at all.
No, or non-committal. No, I mean, I think that if you put a gun to my head or a crystal ball in my hand and said,
and I don't have a gun for the record, just a crystal ball, Schwarmy hat, dry.
What? I would have to lean towards certainly that there is a tremendous amount of pressure going up right now, and that if you look at the history of real estate, the trends tend to be kind of long, 4, 5, 6 years at a time. And so if we are about 1 year into the market going up at a pretty steady pace. So I think there's a very high likelihood that we have at least 2 or 3 years of buying capacity in there.
Well, I want to make a comment, and then I want you to comment on my comment.
Okay.
Before, when it was 2005, and we were going up, we were in uncharted territory because prices were at their highest. Market goes ahead and crashes, and now things are rebounding. We're not in uncharted territory yet because theoretically
We've already been here, theoretically.
Yeah,
Right.
so I would think that prices would go up faster just to rebound to the point where they were before.
Well, interesting chart that I saw last week as well is that if you took out those 3 years of mega appreciation that we saw,
The last 3 years.
yes,
Yeah.
and if you just drew a trend line, okay, quote unquote, from like 1980 all the way to where it would have been without those 3 years, we're exactly where we should be right now.
That's interesting.
Yeah, which is very, very interesting. I'll have to get a hold of the chart. It was again at that California Association of Realtors
Sort
thing
of
I went
Z
to.
go up and then
Yeah,
down
they
and
basically
up
just
again.
took those 3 years out and drew a trend line, and
What-
those
what
3
it
years
would've been.
never existed,
Right.
and things just went as they had in the previous
Wow.
30 years. That right now we would be exactly on the chart where quote unquote we should be.
Right, and
Yeah.
and that to that point, I agree that we're not. I hope are not going back to that level anytime soon. We need to have natural, steady but slow growth.
Yeah.
Would be ideal for the market. Now we don't have that right now. And hopefully, there's a lot of things that can get in the way of that continuing. Obviously, interest rates
Interest
going
rates
up,
going, yeah.
Which are
interest rate. But however, ironically, that is in fact what is partially fueling this.
Sure, because people are afraid that they
Right,
don't
right.
catch
They've
it
been
now
sitting here
before,
for
yeah.
3 years going, oh, I think the real estate market might go back down, interest rates might go back down. Well, now they're seeing both rates go up and prices go up, and so that's where the panic is, right? The question is, how high does it go before it levels off? Going back to that original question, do I buy now or do I wait? It's entirely likely that it will level off or maybe even pull back, but what level will we be at by the time that happens?
Okay,
right?
so you're what if I cut through all of that,
Yeah.
my
Good luck
analysis,
with that.
yeah, is that you see that there's kind of general steady growth going on.
Absolutely. I think right now, because it has come down so much, and that we're kind of at the beginning still of it going back up, and that there's a lot of things that could support the fact that it will continue to grow or at least stay stable, right?
And the reality too, and to think about it from a money perspective, I mean, what Ben Bernanke and the government has done is working. I mean, as critical as everyone can be of it, me included, the reality is that it is stimulating people to go buy homes right now to create some of this demand because interest rates are low. I mean, the reality is if they stopped purchasing mortgage-backed securities and they just really let the market dictate what rates would be, we'd move up 2% very quickly.
Yeah.
That would stall out some of this. I hate to use the word hyper appreciation, but a large increase in the last few months of appreciation. But he's come out and said no, he is not going to do that, and the government is going to continue to support this, quantitative easing of monetary
A lot
policy.
of it's a psychological thing. It's like the stock market. Everyone thinks it's going to go up, then they start buying. Guess what? They actually
It creates its own. But he's right. I mean, this is, and Bernanke I think has said, look, I'm going to continue to stimulate until the unemployment drops below 7%.
Correct. Yep. 6.5 is his target.
Right.
That's
So the question is, when he does that, hopefully, I'm sure, and he's a super smart guy, obviously, that he starts to pull back in a slow way. Doesn't just automatically start artificially, purchasing these bonds and keeping those rates down. So.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for a fun show.
Yeah, it was
always
great.
fun having you guys on. And here are our thoughts for the day. Why do you always see lightning first and hear thunder later? Hello? Because your eyes are in front of your ears.
Oh, jeez. Did my son mail that one in?
Yeah, probably. How old's your son?
13.
13, probably. Okay, and I just realized why I was gaining weight. My wife just informed me that a balanced diet does not mean having a cupcake in each hand. Someday I will learn. Just a matter of time. Tune in next week to The Best of Investing.
Awesome.
We're going to be giving away 9 more free vacations for answering trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm Edward Brown. We're wishing you the best of investing. So long.
Sweet.
Good.
We're going to have to write some new material